Oh, hello! My name is Mara, and welcome to Books Like Whoa. So it's time for a mid-month check-in already? That's a thing. February is shorter, so I guess that makes sense. And I am filming this slightly earlier than I would normally, but I felt like I already had enough stuff I wanted to talk about. In fact, I'm looking through my list and I'm like, I'm gonna need to save a lot of this for the end of the month because I have a lot of things that I want to say about the books that I've already read because it's been a pretty good reading month so far. But before we get into that, some housekeeping and something I'm very excited about. So when you guys are seeing this video, I believe that on my Instagram, either currently or very shortly, there will be a giveaway live that I am doing in partnership with Macmillan Audio to celebrate the release of Golden in Death on audio. This is the 50th book in the In Death series. You guys know I am absolute trash for this series. I love it so much. I am fully caught up now. I got to do that early thanks to Macmillan Audio. They gave me early access to the audio. And I will say that I think within the readership of In Death, everybody really loves the audiobooks of these. They're really well done. I think the narrator is Susan Erickson. And all in all, I just really love the audiobooks on these. I got into them kind of in the late 30s and really started enjoying them. So with Macmillan Audio, I am so excited to tell you that I'm giving away 7 editions of Golden in Death on audio. If you have been looking to get into the In Death series, I will tell you there's not as much character-y stuff in this one. So you could probably start with this if you're just looking for a good kind of like crime procedural thing. I'm so excited to be partnering with them to do that. And then, so there's 7 total that we're giving away. And then for 2 of those people, so 5 just the audiobook, and then 2 people will also get a collaboration that JD Robb did with Swarovski crystal. So it's this necklace, which I'm wearing now, and you'll be able to see a picture better on Instagram. But basically it's, if you've read the series, it's replicating her little diamond that she wears every day that she got from work, and then it's her badge. So this is super cute, and so 2 winners will get that. So all that to say, go check out Instagram, check out the caption for all of the information about how to enter, and your odds are super good because we have 7 of these to give away. I'm so excited. Macmillan Audio was so nice to reach out to do that. I'm not getting anything from this other than I guess this necklace. I just thought that that was super cool, and you guys know what a nerd I am from that series, so very excited to be doing that. Go check out Instagram for that. So with all that being said, I'll now get into what I've read, what I'm currently reading, and what I might read next. Okay, so in terms of what I read, so I started off the month very heavy on speculative romance because I was reading from the Immortals After Dark series quite a bit, and I've been vlogging that, so there's going to be a lot more details on my thoughts on that. Basically, what I've realized is that my main problem with this series is that the grovel doesn't always match the crime. So these series are filled with like really tough, really interesting immortal creatures. They're all falling in love because there's this thing that happens every 500 years called the Accession, and when the Accession is coming, basically it's a big ass war between all the different factions of immortals. When that's happening, new alliances are formed, new special really magically babies are born. Everything changes up within the lure, which is all the magically people. And I don't, basically the heroines in these books get put through the ringer, and sometimes it works for me because the hero's also getting put through the ringer in the same way, or if he's done something terrible with the heroine, he'll grovel enough that I feel okay about it. And sometimes they're like on an adventure together, and that works even better for me. So the first one I read was Pleasures of a Dark Prince, and I really like this one. It was one of my like top few in the series because they're sort of on like, it reads sort of like Indiana Jones, but like with immortal people, and there's romance. So like that I was really into. But MACRIEVE and LOTHAIRE, man, I struggle. It's the grovel did not match the crime, and it's just unpleasant for me to read about. I think if you like an angstier book, these books probably work better for you. I don't know. But my next one is Demon from the Dark, which I think I'm getting on audio. Actually, no, I got it on audio from the library already. So I'm kind of, I think I've reached a point with that series where I'm just gonna cherry pick 1 or 2 more to read, and I'm not gonna finish all of them because it's a lot. There's a lot of angst happening, and I just don't think it's for me. But that was my goal for this year, was to do something with all of the books that I had, because I got all of them on sale back in like 2014 or 15. I got them all for like $1.99 up through that point. So I wanted to do something with the books that I already had, and now like at least I'm doing that. Like I'm dispositioning all of them. So I did that, and then I also read a speculative romance by Alyssa Cole at the beginning of the month called The AI Who Loved Me, which I think right now is still an Audible Escape exclusive, and they had a 2-month free trial going for February for Audible Escape, which is a like romance subscription add-on to Audible. So I went ahead and got the free trial. I listened to that and I really liked The AI Who Loved Me. It starts off as sort of like, okay, basically the premise is that there's a girl who lives across the hall from this scientist, and the scientist has a new hot nephew who is living with her, but quickly we realize that maybe the hot nephew is not a human. He's actually some sort of like synthetic humanoid robot combo. And he, I think, like, as you guys know from my love of Murderbot and some other series, like, I do think I just really am a sucker for any like humanoid robot-y thing that's like discovering and exploring their humanity. And Leeway was definitely doing that, and I very much enjoyed it. So I actually really, really like this book, and I'll talk more about it in my end of the month wrap up because I actually really liked the twist in this. Like, it takes a turn in the last 20% that I did not see coming exactly, like, at least not in the way it was done. And I really liked it. Like, it takes a big, it's tonally, that's really what the shift is. There's a very big tonal shift in the last 20% that for me really worked. And just as a reminder that Alyssa Cole is a blessing and goddess to us all, which I don't think I'm going to talk about it in this video because I need to give a full gush at the end of the month. But when I tell you that I have like an hour left in the audiobook of A Princess in Theory, which was my We Need Diverse Romance pick for the month, when I tell you that this book is a perfect book, and I'm so bitter that I let it just sit on my Kindle for 2 years without reading it. Alyssa Cole, we don't deserve you. Thank you. Awesome. Love it. Okay, so I will talk more about A Princess in Theory at the end of the month because I have so many thoughts about it. I'm not totally done with it yet, and I want to give it a full hashing out. So that was, so anyway, all that to say, side note to gush about A Princess in Theory, but all that to say, I started my month with a lot of speculative romance. What else? I've definitely been reading some mystery. So I read and really enjoyed The Pale Horse by Agatha Christie. Again, that was a hit for me, so I'll probably wait to the end of the month to talk about it, but I really like that one, and considering it was written in the 60s, like, that was an accomplishment. I know that there's already the adaptation from the BBC in the UK already, but it doesn't come to America until March. So I'm excited to watch the new adaptation. I can see why they picked it now. Like, it's going to be an interesting adaptation. But anyway, so I read and enjoyed that. And then I also read and enjoyed Death in the Family by Tessa Wegert, which I read upon recommendation from a few of you guys. You guys were tagging me on this book because you were like, oh, this is an isolated closed circle mystery, Mara. Get over here, read this, get it. So the publisher was kind enough to give me an arc on NetGalley, and I actually really ended up enjoying this. Now, I will tell you, I don't think this book is actually that great. Like, I think objectively it's probably like a 3-star, but because it just fully gave me all of the isolated closed circle like plot beats and character types that I like, I really liked it. So I gave it 4 stars. I would tell you objectively, like, there's some issues with the writing quality and the pacing is really off. Also, there's a plot contrivance that does not really make all that much sense. But leaving that aside, putting a pin in all of that, I actually really liked it. So the premise of this isolated closed circle mystery, just so you know, is that there are 2 investigators who are called out on a missing persons case in rural upstate New York. And there's this big fancy house out on one of the islands in this kind of lake region that is in upstate New York. And so it's in the middle of a big storm. So the investigators get there and then maybe they can't leave and they don't really know if there's a body, but there's a shit ton of blood and there's like family secrets and convolutedness. All of that is happening. And it was a really good like poolside read for me. I just ended up really liking it a lot. So I enjoyed that one. It comes out, I believe, next week? No, it comes out this coming week. I think it comes out on Tuesday. So that should be available soon. But yeah, I personally ended up enjoying this. I don't think it's like the best mystery I've ever read, but I think that it would be a really fun read. So if you're looking for something like a light, fun mystery, I think this one would get the job done. What else? I feel like a lot of these I want to talk about at the end of the month. Oh yeah, I read and really liked Cold Comfort Farm which was on my classics for the year list, but I'm going to talk more about that at the end of the month. The TLDR on it is that it is a weird ass book, but it did make me laugh out loud a lot, so I kind of just went with it. I did read This Is How You Lose the Time War, and I gave this 3.5 stars. I did like it. I really liked the romance, and I liked that I kind of experienced this like a stream of consciousness type book. Like I wasn't that fussed with what was actually happening, and if you asked me to tell you really the actual plot, I don't know that I could, but I was kind of okay with that. So I enjoyed, like, the writing is beautiful, and I really like the love story in this, but I don't know, it wasn't like it didn't completely work for me, I would say, but I enjoyed my time with it. So I liked this one pretty well. It was different. I've never read something quite like this, so points for originality if nothing else. Let's see, I just finished listening to an audiobook of Because Internet by Gretchen McCulloch, and I really liked it. It was a book about internet language, like she's an internet linguist, and actually it was super fascinating. I particularly liked, she was talking about different cohorts of internet users and how that influenced their kind of engagement with internet speak. And I really appreciated her kind of digging into the different generational cohorts on the internet. I just thought that was super interesting. And then she has several different chapters that I thought were interesting, but the two that stood out beyond that sort of cohort division were a chapter about emoji and how they function as a language tool, which she talks about as a gesture or an emblem. That was super fascinating. And then she also talks about memes in a way that I thought was really interesting. So it had a lot of what I would probably call descriptive power, or she said a lot of things that you were like, oh yeah, like that is how I use emoji, or that is why I kind of, like that makes more sense to me. So, and it's also really fun listening to her read those things on audio. So I really liked Because Internet. I thought it was good. If it's another nerdy language book, I also had one last month, but it was super interesting. And then I guess the only other thing I finished was The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren, which I enjoyed. Like, I had a good time reading it. I'm between 3 and 3.5 stars. I had a good time reading it. I just think it's a situation where there are zero surprises in the plot, and the romance isn't believable because it doesn't have enough time. It doesn't give enough time for the characters to go from like to love. So as a romance, it didn't quite work for me, but I really liked the characters. Like, all of the character stuff in it was really good. It just didn't, I don't know, it didn't fully come together. It was enjoyable though. Like, if you're looking for just like a fun book, like a fun, enjoyable, kind of light, romancy / women's fiction-y kind of thing, you're gonna have a perfectly good time with it. I just don't think it's one of the better Christina Laurens. And yeah, I'm starting to despair of it a little bit. I don't know. I'm gonna have to like pause and think about it more. I might talk about that as a disappointment. But I did it's weird to call it a disappointment because I had a really fun time reading it. It just didn't have anything extra to it, kind of. So that was a bummer. So I think that's most of what I finished that I'm ready to talk about right now. So maybe I'll talk about the things I'm currently reading and what I'm going to read next. Okay, so currently reading. I am in the middle of The Last Wish by Andrej Sapowski. I am loving this. If this keeps going the same way, this is going to be a 4.5 or 5 star book. I am really enjoying this, and I'm very excited to finish this and then watch the series because I've heard really good things about the series. I like it. It feels subversive in a way that I wouldn't expect from a fantasy book in the 90s, which maybe it's just my own projection and judgment, but I really love this, especially like the first section. So good. So I read a little bit of this on a trip I just took. I'm hoping I can tuck in with this weekend and finish it up. So I'm in the middle of that, and then I do need to just finish off The Diving Bells. I only have a couple of stories left, but this is one I want to go ahead and polish off. So I think, do I have anything else in progress? Oh, I do have A Princess in Theory. I have like 1 hour left in the audio, but I'm basically done. So as soon as I finish with that audio, I have Demon from the Dark, like I mentioned earlier, from Kresley Cole up on audio. I also just got Mistborn as audio from my library, which I think will help me get through this because I'm just struggling to sit down and want to read it physically. So I think if I can at least get started with it in audio, I think that'll help me get through that one. Other things I'm going to read. So Recursion by Blake Crouch is up on the docket. This is a part of a sci-fi project I have going on right now. So I've heard pretty good things about this. It won the Goodreads SF choice last year, which, you know, it's mostly a popularity contest, but it does mean that this was popular. So yeah, hopefully I do well with that. That will be my first Blake Crouch book from my 20 books I want to read in 2020 that I've already chosen to read this month is Becoming Wise by Krista Tippett. This is sort of like a philosophical musing type thing, an inquiry into the mystery and art of living. That's what it is. This was a gift, and yeah, we'll see how I do with it. It's a piece of nonfiction that has been sitting on my TBR for a long time, which is why I put it on that list. Other things that I need / want to finish. So I have an arc of Something That May Shock and Discredit You by Daniel Mallory Ortberg, who I believe now goes by Danny M. Lavery because he got married. So, but it was published under his previous name. So this is a collection of personal essays, and it actually came out last week, but I have an arc that I just timed. So I would like to go ahead and read this, get to it. I'm expecting to like it. I love the Dear Prudence podcast, which he is the host of. Oh, and then I don't have to get to this month, but I want to get to this month. Network Effect by Martha Wells. This is like the pride and jewel of my acquisitions of late. This is this book comes out in May, and I'm so excited. So I really just want to like treat myself and get to read this one this month. Hopefully that's the plan. And then I'm hoping I get to The Right Swipe by Alisha Ray. I keep putting this off, but I have an arc of the sequel that comes out in April, so I really need to go ahead and read this in February so that I can read Girl Gone Viral in April or May. No, in April, I guess. So yeah, I'm really excited about this one. I should love this. This should just be a fun, quick read. Also, similarly, I want to read Get a Life, Chloe Brown. I'm not sure, depending on how things shake out, if that will be possible. And then I guess the only other thing I need to do is pick another book from my 20 books I want to read in 2020 TBR real quick. So let's grab The Reading is Sexy mug and do that real quick. Okay, so first choice is The Groves of Academe by Mary McCarthy. And then at the same time, I pulled out Angel Maker by Nick Harkaway. So those are two choices. And then my third is That Sweet Enemy by Robert and Isabella Toombs. This is a honker of a book, and that's just not going to happen this month. So we're putting that away. Angel Maker or The Groves of Academe? Well, I will tell you that I've got a lot of sci-fi on my list already. So I think Angel Maker is some sort of speculative fiction-y kind of thing. So I think I'm going to save that. So I guess it's going to be The Groves of Academe is my mug pick. Okay, sure, why not? It's a literary fiction kind of modern classic, and I've never read any fiction from Mary McCarthy, so I'm intrigued to see how I do. It has been on my TBR for one of the books that's been on my TBR the longest, so that will be good, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. Okay, so we will add that one to my TBR. Actually, considering that we really only have 2 weeks left, I think I have plenty on my TBR to be getting on with. We'll see how I do with all of it. We all know I'm always biting off a little bit more than I can chew, but hopefully I can make it work. Okay, so I think that's most of what I had to tell you guys about today. Like I said, I feel like this is a weird one because there's so many of these that I've already read that I mostly want to like really dive into in my end of the month check-in. Hopefully that still worked as a video. Yeah, so the rest of the month, hopefully my kittens are supposed to be getting spayed and neutered this week, so hopefully I will be getting them at the end of the month. Just got back from Cabo, which was nice to spend some time in the sun, but it was to bury my dad at sea, so that was a little bit sad, but something we, kind of had hanging over our heads, so I'm glad to have it done at least. About to get back into the grind at work, and it's going to be intense because I'm transitioning clients, so yeah, we'll see how the rest of February goes. I feel like it's a little bit action-packed and a little crazy, but it always comes together. So anyway, let me know how your reading has gone so far in the month of February, what you think of any of the books I mentioned, anything that you think I'm gonna love or hate. Let me know that below. Don't forget to go check out Instagram if you would like to win audiobook of Golden in Death, or if you want to win this cool necklace. Go check out Instagram. So yeah, I think that will do it for now. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, follow me on the social medias if you are so inclined. I have all that information listed in the description box below, and I think that will do it. I hope you are having an absolutely lovely day today, and I will just talk to you soon. Bye.